He just want to see you. You don't have to hold him.
I hold him.
All right. I'm going to bring his bottle in here and feed him in here since you're going to be in here. Or should I be out there? Stuff.
Huh?
Should I be out there?
I don't care where you're at, honey. You could help fill in seats in here if you want. You could help fill in seats in here if you want.
Yeah, are they going to make the announcement? Do you want me to go talk to her?
Sure.
So she's got you doing like 2 or 3 today throughout the day?
Yeah. 11, 1, and 3. So just this is going to be about evolution of humanity. Touch on that a little bit, and then we're talk about we're do maybe a question and answer at the end, and the next one will be about manifestation, and the last one will just be like a straight out. I might bring Bobby up for that last one and see if she wants to be in here.
Okay.
Yeah, but for those of you joining in right now, we're live right now. They can see you. They can see the audience. So wave them. You're on my YouTube channel. Chuck and Judy, good friends of mine, showing up, help support me. Always love them so much. But yeah, we're here. I got Hawk. We're here in Golden, Colorado at the StarDust Festival. Had a rough day yesterday. Broke down on the way here, and the truck is waiting to get worked on tomorrow. It's a big long story, but yeah, persevered on and ended up making it up here for StarDust Festival. So we're going to be doing 3 talks. One at 1 p.m. The next one's going to be at 1 p.m. I'm going to start the talk here in just a few minutes on this one, but the next one's going to be at 1, and then we're going to do another one at 3. I probably will be streaming those. Yeah, I probably will be streaming those for sure. We're set up here and got a beautiful venue. Got a lot of vendors downstairs. So yeah, we're going to be talking about manifestation, human evolution, and what we've been doing here. What we're doing here right now, like what's going on right now in this world. I believe we're going through a point in human evolution. I believe we're going through this point that we're shifting into this higher vibration. And Chuck, I believe you were talking about on the way over here and stuff, and earlier about how you're starting to open up to this frequency, and I really believe this is the truth. I really believe this is what we're stepping into. I think we're going to be able to heal with frequency and vibration and singing bowls, and maybe in the future without plant medicine, right? And I know that there's a lot of sound healings and stuff like that, but music is a big part of our ceremonies as well. It was what drives our ayahuasca ceremonies. You've experienced several different kind, and you know that with the frequency of vibration, it really does change it. The songs really affect it. So what's that say moving forward? And it goes back to the teachings of Dr. Emoto and like what he talked about, how we have our bodies are made up of water, and he found that the water responded to negative and positive frequency, and we can apply that to our own bodies as well. And that's how we can live our lives. Like we can start to affect our bodies through binaural beats and music that raises our vibration, being out in nature. And there's a lot of people that right now that is trying to understand what's going on in this world, and they're having a hard time. Like especially the masses, like even people that are been on a spiritual path their whole lives or started years ago. This is still a struggle for them. So I can only imagine like what it's like for someone just waking up or just seeing the recent Congress UFO hearings, like what that does to the normal person. It's a paradigm shift in their minds that it really changes things, their reality. And I think it's, for me, I'm just feel so blessed that I'm alive in this moment in time and in humanity to experience this. This is one of the most amazing things that's ever happened to us, I believe. And I believe that's because the earth and its inhabitants are going through a dimensional shift at the same time. into a different frequency, into a higher frequency or reality. I think it's happened before, but I think the difference now is I think that both the earth and its inhabitants are going through it at the same time. I think both these things happened before. One to humanity, and maybe their planet wasn't ready, and other times maybe the planet was ready and maybe its inhabitants weren't quite ready. Now I think we're syncing up, and that's why I think this is a really unique time in our evolutionary, like our existence. Chuck, you've been out to my house and you've experienced the pendulum thing, like with the lighters and with the like transmuting lighter. Do you have a lighter? Do you have a lighter on you?
Yes, I do.
So I got some pendulums out. No, you keep it down there.
Oh,
Yeah, I got some pendulums out on the table, and hopefully there'll be other people that come to the other talks that haven't experienced this before. But for the people that's out there, I'm going to go through this, and Chuck can help me demonstrate it. That this, just knowing this alone, like seeing magic and seeing your energy, can be a lot to move you forward. So first, Chuck, I want you to put the lighter on the table. And it's just an inanimate object, but we know it could be sacred and it could be just an inanimate object. So you can pick up the pendulum and hold it over the lighter. And however you normally hold a pendulum, if you normally work with a pendulum, I'm sure like however you normally hold it, just hold it like that. So as we're looking at the lighter and like thinking about the plastic design of it, it's made from Bic. It's got a warning label on the back. I can see it's got a child protective little thing on top that most people flick off. It's got flint in it. It's got all types of components from the earth, but it's just an object out of Chuck's pocket that he uses to light his cigarettes and whatever else. But if he uses it to light sage, and he understands that's connected to the central source, it's a representative of the central fire. It's a sacred item. It could be used to light yopo. It could be used to smoke bufu. It could be part of a paradigm shift and part of a sacred ceremony. It's all up to our perception of the moment, and then getting back to it, like we can think about it as just a piece of plastic again, and it'll go back. So our words, this demonstration is meant to show, I hope some people at home are doing this, or whoever's watching is doing this, so you can see like the actual energy, like going through not just my words, like your words can do the same thing. It's just our gratitude or our mindset towards an object is very important. And this is what this exercise demonstrates. So that's good, Chuck. If you want to pray over it, if you want to transmute it yourself and show anyone or try it yourself, you can. But the reason I think that a lot of these things have been hidden from us for so long by the general public, that's been hidden from the powers to be. And I'm not talking about the government. I'm talking about people that own the government. There's people above the government. I don't know if you're listening to this right now. I'm sure if you're listening to my podcast or if you're in this room, you already know that this has been a reality for far too long, and we're finally starting to see proof of it, like show its face in our 3D reality. But it's controlled through food. It's controlled just for instance, the WIC program for the United States, for mothers that are pregnant, and the government supplements extra food for low income families. Those foods that are in part of that program, most of them, I would say over 75% of those foods are known cancer-causing foods. Cheerios and Jif are two that are really showing up right now a lot in the news, that they are containing hydrogenated oils, hydrogenated vegetable oils, and other products that are precursors for cancer. Now the question comes up: why is WIC condoning these foods to be fed to our children? it's a direct attack against humanity, and it's a direct attack against our consciousness. It's not so much they want us to die; they want us to live, because they've been harvesting our manifestation energy for years through the Pledge of Allegiance, through all these other indoctrinations. Like if you go when you turn 18, you should join the military. You go to war, your family would be proud of you, your country would be proud of you. I fell into the trap. A lot of people have, and this is it's sad but true. Like this is what's been happening for so long.
I also noticed another one this morning when I turned on the television onto a infant show for learning. Um, as a quick distraction when I was getting ready for this event. And on the show, one of the songs they started singing was "The Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round." And it talks about the teachers and the bus driver and all the students going to school. And I had to stop and think to myself, I was like, I don't want him to listen to this because I don't know if I want to send my child to a public school. And this song right here is indoctrinating him to get excited about going to school with everybody else, and it's programming him to get into that conditioning of going to school just by a preschool sing-along song. So I feel like they're just like hidden in so many different places.
For those listening at home, it may not have heard it or listening to this podcast station, she was talking about the Wheels on the Bus and how it's played. She was noticing it this morning when we were getting ready in the hotel room, of this playing on and indoctrinating kids from the get-go. I mean, from infant stage to want to go to school, to ride on a bus. Another thing to expand on that, like, why are we singing about London bridges falling down? Like, why are we singing about catastrophic events? As having children sing them, as their first songs. London Bridge is falling down. Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. He fell all to pieces. They got to put him back together. Like, why are we singing about this? We try. I know me and Ella, my wife in the background. Thanks for a wonderful, wonderful comment addition to the conversation. But we try to. Our son does watch TV, but we try to find programs that are kind of different. Like one of the programs he was watching this morning was a cartoon of the festival in India, the Festival of Color in India. So that was, we try to bring him open. Obviously, his son here listening to me talk about the evolution of humanity. So he's listening to different things, but yeah, so it's, the indoctrination goes into our food, into our TV, into our media, and it comes also from our parents. Like your parent, like we're going through this thing now where we're trying to figure out how to properly motivate our son. And this is, we're speaking about the evolution of humanity, but you also have to speak on what's stopping the evolution and what is the forces that are trying to stop it. And that, it keeps coming up, like who are they? Like they own the government. They are part of the 5 families that own the world, the Rothschilds and other ones that I don't even know the names of, really, to tell you the truth. And probably the ones that really own it, we will never know the names of it through design. But why are they trying to suppress this? Because it is power. They're using our power, just like the power to transmute a lighter that Chuck's playing around with there. This is, they're using it against us. They've been using our energy the whole time. And when we start to understand that we can create magic in our own hands and stop giving that power away to them and open our eyes to the indoctrination, then we can start to take our power back and be truly sovereign beings. So I'll open up this here, and if you have any questions online, shoot them over or see if I get them. But yeah, Chuck and Judy, like, what questions do you have? What input do you have on the subject?
Got me off guard here. That's kind of fun. Actually, I don't have any questions right this second. I'll think of something.
No worries.
Comment, like you were saying, it's just such a hard time for everybody. For me, it's like Chuck and I were talking last night. It's like I don't belong in this dimension because I don't. This is my feeling. I don't. The war. This dimension is all about war. This time is all about war and hate and anger. That's everything I'm not.
Right.
It's like a high speed walk is how I feel like I'm doing sometimes. Like it's an effort to balance where it's been for the last 2 years. It's easy for me to just like center myself and go on with what I'm doing. The last like 3 months, it has just been like back and forth.
It's definitely, I feel it's definitely been speeding up. Perception is key though. The perception, maybe I'm not supposed to be here. Maybe the reason, maybe you need to flip your perspective and maybe I am supposed to be here. Maybe I am supposed to be the energy to change this. And instead of, and that small little change in your attitude may change, it changes the whole picture. Like if I move if I move one of these cameras just a little bit, they're looking at an entirely different part of the room that's not here, but it's here.
Okay, yeah.
You understand? But because this camera is only looking at it's only looking, at a small frame right here. There's a whole nother world above and beyond, below. There's people out there talking. There's a whole nother world speaking. But as far as this camera is concerned, there's only 3 people in this world and a voice. And then there's just me right here that doesn't even have a voice on this other camera. So, but it's all about perspective.
Also, I think things like those counterthoughts like that keep us from our passions and our purpose. Because if you look that same thought around, like you said that I am supposed to be here, and I do have that purpose. What does that do? That's a catalyst to put you onto your spiritual mission, your spiritual purpose, your greater purpose, right? That can be a huge catalyst. Just that switch right there. It depends on every day we have to wake up and make that choice to be that catalyst to move forward with those thoughts and those actions.
You may be the one that brings the change to this. You may be the voice of spirituality in 6 months from now. But that one swap of thinking maybe I shouldn't be here, knowing I'm supposed to be here.
Right. What I meant was at this point, I can explain. I mean, I know I have a purpose here, but it's more of a challenge right now. I mean, I have a purpose here. I'm not sure what it is yet, but it just maybe not long maybe that I don't fit in this. I can't say what I'm feeling. It's not coming out right.
So make the peg fit you. If you don't fit in the hole, make the peg. The point is to create your own reality. Like you're not, and it can be challenging if you allow it to, and I think it goes back to perspective a lot. It goes back to, because the reality is all divine. All this that we're seeing, experiencing in this dimension, others in dreams. We had a crazy day traveling yesterday. I had crazy dreams last night, which they were affected from my experience throughout the day. Like my mind and everything was trying to figure out, like, am I still supposed to be here at this event? What is the message? I could have choose to allow. There's 2 ways I could have looked at the event yesterday. It could be like, I'm not supposed to be here, or I'm here and I got here no matter what, so I'm sitting here sharing. And but the reality of it, it's all divine, every single moment. So me being here, the amount of people that's here, people watching, everyone that is involved in this co-creative ceremony that we're having right now, you and us here and people online are we're sharing a moment, and it's not me. I'm not the moment. The moment is us sitting here trying to hash out and trying to figure out, in this present moment, how we can expand, and how in the next moment we can expand. Perspective is key. That's what I would have to say.
I feel like I hear that a lot about people saying on this journey that they feel like they don't belong in this time or era. Like they feel like they came from a lot of times like way back when or of the future because a lot of these souls I feel like are being placed in this right now. They do feel lost like a puzzle piece that just can't find their place because they're not meant to it. They're meant to be the light that's shining down on the puzzle. So you're that light. You are that light. And it's hard because we feel like we don't belong with people don't understand us sometimes, or we can't understand other people, or if they don't relate to us, our families. A lot of times they're some of the biggest people who they want to help, but we can't because they're not receptive to it. That's one of the biggest challenges I found along this journey for myself personally and other people. I feel is that we want to help the people closest to us. Right. And we want to feel understood and heard. We want to share in these ways that are helping us. But it's hard because often those people that are closest to us are not the most receptive. And that's the biggest challenges. And I have to go back to my teachings in nursing school for that. Because one of the things that we teach you in nursing school is, if you have a patient come in, you typically don't work on that patient. That's your family. Your family comes into an ER, they're not going to help you as that nurse caring for that patient typically because you're too close. You're too close to those people.
Maybe you want to come up here closer and sit over here. I'm pretty sure the microphone's not picking this up, and it's a beautiful display. Yeah, we have an indoor festival going on downstairs. So if you're in the Denver area or around Golden or anywhere around here, stop by Golden, Colorado at the Buffalo Rose. It's a cool little event going on, one-day event, and there's tons of practitioners downstairs that are getting busy right now with sound healings and all types of stuff. But what I interrupted Ella a little bit about here. Hold on, get her in the camera. Why don't you come? You want to come over here, baby? So what Ella was talking about is a little bit what we've been talking about on the podcast lately. Is about what the really struggle right now is acceptance from our community and our families and things like that. Like it's and I get it, but the people that are having a hard time understanding, like if you go through experience, say you see a UFO or go through a paradigm shifting experience in ceremony, or just have a spontaneous connection to the divine that happens out of nowhere. How do you explain that to people? It's obvious the first people that are going to be able to understand it are the people maybe not as close to you. I think it's very common, and I think it's part of the process that our families are the last ones to really understand it, because they, for me, like my sister Linda had a hard time when we visited her. She saw me singing in songs in Lakota, and it was very hard for her because she saw me as a child. I'm the baby, so I was the youngest, so she saw me grow up. And now seeing me, sing songs in a different language, and the feelings that she had just from hearing the song, not just me singing, but the medicine that's contained in the song was affecting her, and seeing me, it's just hard for her to wrap her head around. So I think it's a big, I don't think it's a big, I wouldn't call it a problem, but it's an interesting part of the process that our families are the last ones to really hear our message. If we're given a message from the other side, or a divine message or a divine mission, it's going to be our families, and the one closest to it is going to be that's going to take them the longest to really grasp it, and because they've seen us in a totally different light. And I think
Speaking of that, I feel like it brings up an interesting point too. We go through these changes and these evolutions and these ceremonies or meditations, whatever, that change us, and we feel changed. But how the other people that know us and have known us for a very long time still look at us in the light that they had looked at us prior to our awakening, right? So it's like not only do you have to change how you see yourself, but you're also changing that perception of how other people have seen you for many, many years and have known you. And that could be, I feel like, a big culture shock to a lot of the people, especially our families, when they see us in a different light. Because a lot of times after personal awakenings or whatever you want to call it, we just exude different energy. Like you're just glowing, and it's sensed different by other people, and they're very sensitive to that energy, and they don't know how to take it. They don't know how to respond to it. Even in the beginning of our journey, just terms of embracement, of supportive was really strange for a lot of people, just like being hugged or telling people, that you care for them or that you're supporting them or you're here for them. That was really awkward and uncomfortable for me, for a lot of people, because I wasn't used to that kind of closeness. Right? Like a lot of us, I feel like me personally, I always just had a lot of guard up too. So I feel like the people that are in our lives have such a big job of changing the perceptions of how we live our daily lives too. It's like not just us changing our view of ourselves, but them too. And the change that has to make on them, right? So I always think, like, the way I always say is, like, just try to be that light of example. Like, I don't go up to people and families and be like, oh, you need ayahuasca. It's going to change your life. It's going to make you better. You can't do that. The only thing that you can do is just show up and smile and share your energy.
Yep.
And people are going to sense that, and they're going to be drawn to that and support each other and hold each other. And that's so foreign to a lot of people. Just bringing it back into like our communities, I feel is another huge part of that. And it's so beautiful to be able to witness with you guys going on that journey too, because it sounds like you're having difficulties with a lot of family and outsiders understanding what you're going through, or understanding the different types of the different you right now. We lost a lot lot of friends throughout this journey.
Yeah.
Because we don't drink anymore.
Yeah.
We don't. Well, I mean, we're not even going to go out to like a Chili's restaurant. What are we going to eat there? I mean, even like eating anymore is like, it's hard. It's really hard. So it's so amazing to be able to join in community in these places like this here,
Right.
where we can all meet different people who share and
the same.
yeah, and in the troubles too, because a lot of times I feel like it's the Instagram version of spirituality. Everyone just wants to talk about how beautiful it is and blah 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 blah, but it's not. It's hard, and there's
It's
real.
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's so rewarding and it's amazing, but it's a lot of work.
But like you were sharing with me a little bit, I don't want to go into your personal stuff, but I mean, going back for generations of work, not just our work here. It is generations of work that we're sometimes doing.
It's intense, but knowing that it's the majority of it's done, and just to keep up with, I don't know, making sure everything stays where nobody else starts heading down a path like that.
Daily karma.
Yeah.
Daily karma.
Yep.
We cleared it all. Don't create none, she says to those people.
Yeah. But it was, yeah.
Daily karma. Yeah, Chuck, you asked me about my book, my next book, and when I had ideas. I had an idea actually driving up here before any of the car stuff happened. I had an idea of writing a book of the urban bushcraft. Like how do you make your own coffee in a coffee maker that a hotel provides you? Like there's some things that you have to do. You have to make your own filter and everything. Like it doesn't, things like that. But yeah, just evolving and keep expanding and keeping our imagination open. Um, I think this reality can go as far as we want it to. Like it can be whatever we want. Like it can really, and I think enough of us are waking up to that reality, the connection to source, the connection to sun, the truth of divinity and things like that. I think enough of people are waking up that it's becoming a reality of the collective. I think it's taking hold. I don't buy into the the storyline where people say like it's going to take a certain amount of people. I believe that it could take a small amount of people. It just depends on how much those people really truly believe in what divinity really is. What are the law? What are the unbroken laws and never changing laws in the universe? Divinity, free will, the I am, the whatever you put out will be returned in the universe. Those are the only handful of laws that dictate it. Everything else, the law of gravity, the law of speeding, all these other things are open to interpretation. Like they're not they're a set of laws made by man trying to control another man. Like there's only a few laws that was put on us that will never change. And getting getting to know that and like knowing that truth, like I believe that really helps out the cause. It helps out yourself. Like this is what the evolution is about. It's ultimately about each and every one of us finding peace within ourselves, finding balance within ourselves, and finding a way to sustain that into a new reality daily. Like you can't evolve and keep the same habits and ideas that you had. Like that's not evolution. That's not the way evolution works. Evolution is changing and of the being into basically another species. I think that's what we're heading into. I think we're going into almost a different species. We're going into something that steps outside the definition of what a human is. I think because I don't think we're what we are. I don't think was meant to be bound by any name or label. I don't think it's human. I don't think it's source. I think it's somewhere in between, but I don't even think it has a name. I think it's above. I think it's above that. It's outside the realms of boundaries. So that's my talk on evolution of humanity. Um, if you guys got any questions, I would love to hear them now. But if not, I'll be doing another talk here in about an hour. I'm going to get some lunch and be back on. I'm going to be back on live with another session of talks here at StarDust Festival. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'd love to hear.
Yeah, one question. I heard somewhere about the levels of civilizations and stuff throughout the universe. And so, from what I understand, are we even at the first level, or are we still under climbing?
Well, I'll be honest. I'm not. I'm not an expert on those levels of society. I have heard of them before, but um, just from my perspective, I think anytime we try to put it into a category, I think we're trying to put a box around something that is not meant to be in a box. You know, if we because when you say levels, that already takes your mind to a hierarchy type of thing. Maybe you may not think of it as like king and queen, but levels already put a hierarchy thing, and divinity has no hierarchy. There is no hierarchy in the truth of divinity. It just is creation. Um, I think the evolution is, and uh, I think the evolution is a individual sport that it's also a team sport, but mostly it's an individual sport. If you think about if you ever played sports in school or anything like that, or a band or anything, you're thinking about yourself. Think about something. Wait, am I doing this right? Am I cutting around the end of the to go for, a pass. Like, am I making this route right? And then you're on top of that, you're also thinking about the team. Think about how the team is working, like how my friends are doing. Are we going to win or lose? This is not a win or lose type of thing. This is not a sport like that, but it's definitely an individual sport, but it's also a team sport. It's about yourself, because really the center of your universe is your heart chakra. So your universe, the center of your universe that creates everything is you. It comes from your heart. A lot of times we look at, because we're looking out of portholes and we're looking past the most important thing that's in our universe. It's not her. She's close, but you can survive without her. You've done it before. You can't survive without you. You can't survive without your heart. This is where your manifestation starts from. Like when people tell me like, happy birthday. No, I don't want happy birthday. Okay, well, you've done so many rotations around the sun. Well, maybe from your perspective, but from my perspective, the sun has done 42 rotations around me, because my universe starts here. It doesn't start out there. And this is what we have to learn to evolve to the next phase. Is our universe starts here. Has nothing to do out there. It has nothing to do with a crystal palace on a crystal planet on the other side of Mars, on the other side of Zeta Reticuli. It has nothing to do with that. That's way far out there. Your universe is here. This is what we have to come in balance, because this is what makes your reality. So that's why we talk about going inside, like all the sages, all the spiritual, like Buddha, any of those, what they're talking about, go inside. It's not cliche. It's really go inside, clean out your own shit, because you're part of the collective. Your viewpoint starts from your own manifestation. So you're also having a shared manifestation with everyone else, but you're here by choice. This is from the 3D point of view, making a decision to be here for your spiritual side. Your spiritual side was saying, I need to be here. Your physical side says, okay, deal. We'll go. It's more and more not going to these events, but going with your intuition more, like just what you've been doing. You're doing great. You're in divinity. I love you guys. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. See all you guys in about an hour. 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You guys can translate that into all the other time zone, but 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'll be back. Much love.